Brings back that kind of like childhood joy of filmmaking.
An A-list celebrity did almost hit me with their car.
That was very traumatizing.
Hayden, sexy son.
Quiet on set. Marker. Action.
Hi everybody, I am Jacob Harding, your host for the Professional Amateur Podcast. Today I'm here with my most frequent collaborators, my roommates, and some of my best friends in the whole world. So take a moment, guys, to introduce yourselves and say what you do.
You first.
No, you first. Actually, Devin, go first.
Okay. What camera am I looking at?
This is our camera.
Hi, I'm Devin. I'm a writer-director and also Jake's favorite AD.
Indeed.
Me next. Hi, I'm Sam Harding, and I'm just that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. My name is Ryan, and I am a voice actor and Jake's friend. Nobody else said that. That's crazy. That's wild.
You know what's even crazier is the one that's actually my brother didn't even say anything about that.
I'm Jake's brother.
I'm also Jake's brother.
All right.
I'm Jake's cousin.
I'm briefly going to explain how each of us met. Sam has been my brother for the last 24 years. He is tied for the longest collaborator of 14 years in my career. We shared a bedroom for 16 years, and we've shared an apartment for almost 5 years. He's been the star of many of my short films, music videos, and plays the lead of Paralysis, Robbie. Ryan has been my best friend since 5th grade, so about 15 years. The person tied with Sam for my longest collaborator, once again, 14 years. We were in school from kindergarten all the way to our senior year of high school. He's a script supervisor and plays Todd in Paralysis. And we have also shared an apartment for almost 5 years. Devin, we met about 5 to 6 years ago after Sam was in his short film 2 a.m. But he knew about Sam and I through our family for years because his family were patients of my chiropractor dad. He visited us in July 2021 in LA, which was kind of crazy because we barely knew him, really, truly.
I knew him.
And then we asked him to move with us, and he moved to LA 6 months later in January 2022. I never kind of realized how quickly
That
you
was
actually...
6 months?
Yeah, 6 months. That's crazy to think about.
And I skydived.
He's the first AD on many of my projects, including Paralysis. Devin, you kind of have a cool story as to why you moved to LA, specifically 6 months from when you visited here instead of like almost a year as you planned. So what was that?
Well, I had shot 2 shorts before, I think it was October 2021. I shot my most expensive shorts. So I was already running low on money, and these guys said they wanted to move out with me. So I was like, sure, give me like the summer to save up. I'll get some money together and then I can come out. But they were already moving out in January. So it was kind of a go now situation. And then I sprained my ankle roller skating. That was very traumatizing.
You lost all your jobs?
I lost all the jobs that I was working at that time. And
I honestly don't remember you ever saying that you rolled your ankle roller skating, like ever.
We're all...
I remember that. I remember that.
I thought you just said you did it because.
And then, it was like December that happened. So I lost all my jobs, all the money that I had planned to like start rolling back together, saving up. All that was gone. So I had about $1,000 to my name. And Jake here spotted me and brought me out. And I still owe him.
He's paid me back.
I'm his slave. And that's why I'm his most frequent collaborator, is because I'm forced to be... Help me.
He's paid me back. He paid me back with interest. It was very nice.
Also, a month after I sprained my ankle, I went on a ski trip.
You can start a Patreon for Devin so that you can help him out with that.
Please.
Before we get into it, how's everyone doing? I know that we're probably a little tired. We took an hour getting this set up, and I know it doesn't look that way because it's very bougie and thrown together, but it took us an hour to get this.
I don't know if bougie's the right word to say, but...
I had a root beer to help lift my spirits, and... I realize it doesn't have caffeine, so I'm tired.
It's a podcast setup, really. I mean, it...
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
bougie,
great.
Sure.
Well, before we get into the art side of things, I wanted to ask you guys one question. So our roommate nickname, for our friends all know this, but not everyone else knows it, is the Kings of Glendale. And I, honest to God, cannot remember why we call ourselves that, besides just that we're four guys and live in Glendale. Is there more of a reason to it, or is that it?
Because we're fucking kings.
Not to toot my own horn or anything, but
Toot it.
okay, I'll toot it. I feel like I thought of it, but I don't know why. Like I don't know.
It's our Wi. It's like
I do, but I don't remember why, like what it meant or anything.
like our
that.
Wi-Fi name is the King's Castle. Like it's been there from the very
was it in
beginning.
Burbank?
Okay, so
that.
I kind of remember we were trying to figure out, because our mailbox and our doorbell had like the old person's name, and so we wanted to replace it with something, and we were trying to figure out like what are we gonna put, because we all have different last names, we all have different names, so
Yeah.
like. I don't know. I feel like we just kind of decided, like, what if it was just the Kings of Glendale?
I think that actually
just kind of went with it.
Is what it is. I think it was from a stupid problem of what should our buzzer say?
Because it's like we can't put Harding, we can't
Harding,
put Murr,
Murr,
we can't
Juden.
put Juden.
Yeah,
So we're kings.
yeah.
It's kind of like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but Kings of Glendale.
Essentially, we're a bunch.
white.
Essentially, we're a bunch of alpha males, and we're the alphas of Glendale.
Sure. Okay.
So-
So the main reason we're
Don't
here.
clip that.
The main reason we're here is to discuss our collaboration. In total, while living in LA, at least 2 of us have worked on 5 short films together, 7 comedy sketches together, 7 music videos together, 1 comedy series pilot, and 1 feature film. Not to mention the many social media videos, vlogs, and working on other professional sets. And this is just in the 5 years we've lived together.
And 3. That's me. I'm the 3 years.
And for Devin, 3.
Thank you.
So having said all that, the first question for this episode is, what do you guys think are the best parts of living with your most frequent collaborators?
The best part?
The best part, yeah.
Convenience.
Shared office space.
Convenience.
Shared office space.
I think it's kind of fun to just be in the same area and we can just bounce ideas off of each other. Because it's kind of cool when we're working on projects that we can just kind of, hey, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of this? And we can kind of share and be honest with each other too. And
I agree with that. I think that would probably be what I would say too, because I always like, if one of us has an idea, we can essentially either all talk about it in the living room or like we kind of take turns going to every person's bedroom and we're like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. And like talking about that openly and freely and like hearing what works and like what doesn't, but also still giving each other room to find it ourselves and stuff.
And we all understand each other and we just, we joke with each other and bounce any kind of joke or inside joke off of each other and just kind of
like
have fun.
Even last night I was talking to Ryan about a script I'm writing. And, I thought, you gave me some good advice, but you were also like, but at the same time, you figure it out yourself. Like, you write it first, and then you see if what I'm saying works. And, like, that's good. I think it's a good way to operate things where you're not like, this is what you should do, Jake. It's like, well, this is what I think, but you figure it out yourself first.
I will also say, like, to the collaboration thing, like, some of our greatest ideas came from, like, super late night conversations to where, like the biggest one, you probably are going to, like, talk about this later, but, like, we were all in my room laughing. We were doing some kind of stupid like improv game in my room.
Yeah, what was that game? It was.
I don't remember what it was.
You couldn't. I think we made it up. You couldn't. You had to go to the front of a room and you couldn't speak, but you had to do like something.
You had to make us laugh.
You had to make the others laugh.
And I think from that night, it might not have been the same night. It may have been in the same week or something. But we ended up in my room, and then we ended up in Sam's room, and that's where like the birth of paralysis happened.
Yeah, so
Was that? It might have been the same day. But
I don't think unless you guys were playing that without
that was
me.
in the living room.
we were definitely
No,
in
that
my
was when we
room.
did the pitch. How Paralysis like really came to be as a collaboration was that we all happened to be in Sam's room, so that part's right. And I had just gotten back from a meeting with one of my mentors where he had suggested that I shift projects to what would eventually become Paralysis, which at this point was not a developed idea at all. And I was like, we can make this low budget feature, but I don't know if I really want to do it. And basically all you guys were like, why don't we do it? That sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like the material that we can do the most for the lowest price. And we can do it with our friends. We can pull from our own resources we already have and go forward with it. And then it was the next day where I had a meeting later that week where I brought down my whiteboard and we kind of together came up with, I had like a general plot idea, but you guys helped me like fill in the blanks and like come up with characters' names. And Sam, as I'll give him the credit, came up with the title Paralysis, actually. And what did I say, Sam?
So that was a shitty ass title.
I didn't.
Really?
I said it was. I didn't like it. I didn't.
That's stupid. I'm thinking tragic. I'm thinking tragedy of Robbie Fincham.
That is the joke. That is.
Fincham wasn't
He
the
wasn't
last
even.
name
Yeah,
yet.
I said he wasn't even named
Robbie
at least
Robertson.
Fincham yet. But
I did think of the painting. That's the only contribution of idea.
we talked about different artistry stuff, and Ryan did suggest painting, which when you see the movie, you'll understand the significance of that.
You won't know
I drew a
yet.
picture of the sleep paralysis demon that night.
Devin did do that.
You won't know it yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
I don't think your kids will love it, but
Oh,
it'll
Back
be
to the
scary.
Future
I know, Back to the
reference.
Future. Good
Yeah.
reference.
thanks.
But that's like, an example of what our collaboration has been like, where we will all kind of come together and form. Like, obviously, I was still the one going and doing the writing, but then when I was done writing, I was sending it to everyone. And I know after the first draft, at least, after everyone read it, we all had another meeting in the living room where we talked about like what worked and what didn't. And then I went and did the next draft and so on and so forth. So that's kind of a good example of like the best version of our collaboration. What is the not so good worst part of living with your most frequent collaborators?
Convenience.
Touche.
It
that
can
gonna-
work for both.
Is that going to be your answer for every question?
Well, I think that, it's convenient to work with people that are really close around you, but then sometimes it's so convenient that you maybe don't venture out.
That's true. I'd say that's a good point. I would say it's kind of like bringing your frustrations from work home with you at times. Like if
Yeah,
we
Jake
had,
hits us.
I do not.
He
He
beats
hits
me with
us.
his shoe.
Jake hits us, doesn't let us eat. He's just frustrated
This is
at
not
work.
true.
Please
Smiling
help.
because it's painful.
Please send help.
Um,
No, I'm just kidding. You can cut that out.
so
I'll answer the question.
yeah, okay.
Honestly, that sound whenever you hear your roommate, editing on their computer and the volume's really loud, and then they go back 10 seconds and you hear it again, 5 seconds, you hear it again. You hear, sometimes as roommates, that can kind of
Who are
be
you
like,
specifically talking
Come on,
about?
me, bro.
I'm just, we all do
I think
it.
we all feel like he's talking about
The thing is, we all edit, so we all have done that at some point. But that's something that I'm sure
No,
each
for
of us
sure.
have been, Devin lives close to the living room, so
I get the most.
I'm sure
annoyed.
he hears that sometimes too.
I think that, and I'll get to this later because we're going to talk specifically about paralysis related things. But like, I definitely think like I was saying, like coming home with it. Like I know there was definitely times on set, like I think Cry is a good example, where like, and I think there's a spot to talk about the actual story behind Cry, but Cry had some really frustrating moments on set where we were very stressed and trying to pull off something that was very difficult. And I'm sure we kind of came home from that. I know with Hope's music video, it was the same thing where there was I didn't do the best job in prep. And so there was like some frustration back at home, like coming back from that. And so I think that's the biggest thing is that like you can't really escape that. But on the plus side, it does also let us usually talk about it quicker instead of just being like frustrated with your coworker. It's like, hey, like this made me upset. Like, let's do better next time kind of thing. So I guess there is a plus side to it too.
I will also say on the convenience side of things, sometimes, and I'm very guilty of this, because we live together, you kind of take advantage of being able to talk to anybody at any time. So when you set things and it doesn't happen, it's not as like impactful because you can just go in the room later. And then sometimes the meeting just never happens. Sorry, Sam.
I'm guilty of it too, bro.
We're making amends on the show. That's great.
We're making men on the show.
So what have you guys learned from our collaboration? Like what was the biggest lesson you feel like you've been taught through it all?
I thought we kind of already said that.
No.
Not yet.
Okay, you go first, Ryan.
What did we learn, kids?
Convenience.
Convenience. I'd probably say, since I've been here, I kind of learned how to be a scripty and an AD, believe it or not, Devin. One time though, so I don't know anything about being an AD, but I've done it once and I learned something else. Producing. So learned a few of these roles that I didn't ever think I was ever going to work on and do, and so kind of learned it through working with you guys. So it's been cool.
Mine would be producing. Probably. I didn't produce anything before I moved out here. So
To voice my opinion more.
That's a good one.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
So I think for me, and this is something that I was already like learning through like film school and other things like that, but I feel like the biggest thing for me is honestly just like working closely in a collaboration, like being able to trust every version of the process, every version of the script, and know that like it's okay if it's bad, that we can bring it up, we can talk about it and figure out what's the best thing to do. I'm still working, as you guys probably know, on taking some of those criticisms and such, and like actually like building them in. I take sometimes a long time I have to sit on thoughts before I really am like, yeah, no, that's good.
For sure.
Do you want to chime into that?
But yeah.
Yes, that is true. Sometimes we come up with really cool ideas or like we'll think of a way to creatively do something different, and it takes Jake like a week to register.
I have to make sure it fits within my vision.
It's a process.
Usually it does.
He likes
fit,
to
though.
sit on it.
Yeah. I will say there's a lot of things. There's only a couple things. There's only been a couple things where I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work. And I still just never go around to it because I just don't think it makes sense for the project. But there's a lot of times where I've been like, okay. But that also happens the reverse way. You know, when there's like, we all have times where we're stubborn and stuck on an idea and we're like, hey, this isn't working. Like, you need to let it go. And it takes a while.
It's always good to hear suggestions and, you know, opinions, and you don't always have to take them, obviously, but it's always nice to have, you know, your friends around to kind of.
And that's what I always try to seek you guys out. I think you all do the same thing. We all try to seek each other out and get the opinions. What advice do you guys have for people looking to collaborate with their roommates or their friends or just collaborating in general?
Just make sure that, you know, that you're really, really like close with each other / like understand each other, because a lot of people, you know, like, you know, move into college with like their best friend and then they like hate each other when they room together. Like, that's like a super common thing. So honestly, I feel like you need to like be able to be good roommates before you can like collab and like work on things together, because and then also know like areas that like frustrate you about like certain people, like people you're collaborating with, like your roommate or whatever. And sometimes there's like some projects that are just better fit for someone else or your roommate, and that's just like the right way to do it, I feel like, you know.
I will say, kind of backing off the idea, I think the biggest thing is filmmaking in a lot of ways can become a business. It usually does eventually become that. But either way, it's like a big creative endeavor where you have a particular goal. If you're at least a director, like you have a vision, you have those things. And you do want to make sure you surround yourself with people that are there to support your vision and not change your vision to what they want. And on the business side of that, you want to make sure that like you guys are going to be good partners, because I have like had friendships ruined because we like collaborated on something bigger, and
Name drop.
I'm not going to name drop because we're good now, but like where like,
Who is it?
Yeah, I was working with James Gunn, and
but like our friendship got hurt because of it, because to be fair to myself, where I went wrong, I was very focused on like what we were just trying to do, and I wasn't really thinking much about like what he was going on with or like our friendship. I was very focused on, this is our show, this is what we're trying to do, and so it became frustrating. But like, I think that that's one big thing. Like, you don't also want these things to come in and ruin your friendship. So like, just be careful, because you don't want that, you know. And also, it's like not every person you work with also is supposed to be your friend per se either. Like, there's work friends and there's actual friends, and when you decide to mix those together, you do have to be very careful, because like it is a creative field where you have a lot of decisions to make, and you want to make sure that they're going to be there to support your decisions, and help you with them, not try to take them away from you and do them for you.
I think something that we did a lot, what we've done a lot more, and I think what we have more success in, is that we will like individually almost come up with things and then know each other's strengths and then approach them with our individual like visions, and then like, I feel like where you can get more potential problems is like, you know, coming up with the more people, the more creatives you have around you, the more like it's gonna like, people are gonna like butt heads.
Absolutely.
I feel like, so yeah.
But it's always good to get like other perspectives, just to see like at least what you weren't thinking, you know, so that you can kind of take what you do like and what you don't and kind of mix them together into what you want to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
And you need to put like honestly the relationship first in some cases, because I know a lot of times like we've worked on projects where like we'll get so heated at each other, but we love each other, so it's not like gonna intrude on our relationships. And so if it's a relationship you really care about, make sure you're putting that first and the project second.
I will say, and you can comment on this too, Sam, specifically to siblings, like Sam and I growing up, I feel like butted heads a lot more than we do now. And I think one reason was because we didn't really understand our roles yet and like what the difference was between them all. And we had to kind of grow into that. So I'd say with siblings especially, like those dynamics can be even more difficult because there's like the whole sibling dynamic also in there. But like you have to get accustomed to what those different roles are.
Like,
and
you can't really let like the sibling annoyances ruin the art piece.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of just have to like filter that out.
I agree. Yeah. So what is your guys' favorite project we've collaborated on outside of Paralysis?
But like individually or like as a group or like...
It can be individually. Like, you know, if I didn't work on it, you can still say it if it was like, you know, more that collaboration. It doesn't have to be all four of us. Because most of the projects, I feel like we have collaborated all four, but there's a couple where like one person was missing.
My answer.
Okay.
Roleplay. Maybe
Really?
my worst project that I've made. Rewatching it. Most controversial maybe. But it was shot in my bedroom for $300. And everybody was in on it in mostly the things that they want to do. Sam was acting and producing. Ryan was voice actor, and you were on set. I don't remember what
I was
your
hanging
role
out.
was. Just
I was
there.
hanging out. I don't remember.
And then Jake was there to facilitate everything
I
as
was
an
an
AD.
Yeah.
Let me
That
say
was
again.
That's your number one besides Paralysis?
Paralysis, yeah, but like that was just the most fun. Like I haven't had more fun on set, I think.
Roleplay
than that
was
day.
fun.
Roleplay was a lot of fun.
That was honestly just made just to give us a project to do.
I think that I don't know. I have a lot of favorites. Like
Pinus right now is like my favorite, which is like a pilot that we shot about this like SoundCloud rapper. That one is Devin directed it. Jake did sound on it.
No, Russ did sound.
Wait, no, what did you do?
I
Jake was
was
AD.
the AD.
For some reason, there's like a shot of in the reflection of a mirror, and it looks like Jake's holding a boom, but I must be Russ.
I mean, Jake
and
might have
then-
held it for one little thing. But
And then Ryan was obviously like casted in it as well, and he was really really funny in it. And I just think like I don't know that one right now. I was really up until like 1 a.m. last night watching it, just like cracking up and like kept going into Ryan's room saying, "Dude, watch this part." That one was really 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 fun. And then also, I don't know why, but I feel like I remember like laughing so much when we made Fart Killer.
that was fun too.
Yeah, this is a comedy sketch about a killer who farts before he kills you. Written by Sam, directed by Jake,
Yes.
starring Ryan and me and Jared Lucier, and actually Jake had a
I'm
cameo.
actually in it. Yeah, I'm not usually in them.
You know, I actually had long blonde hair then too, so
and Zach Marchion.
I thought that was honestly Fart Killer was a lot of fun, but there was the part where Jared like shakes me and my neck is just like I don't know. He practically just gave me the worst migraine ever, and so filming those last few scenes was actually pretty horrible.
You probably got a
but
concussion.
maybe.
Concussion.
Jared will do that to you.
Yeah,
Strong
he
man.
gave me a little concussion.
Love Jared.
So
I gotta have Jared on this at some point.
That'd be fun.
What's your favorite project, Ryan?
honestly, I had a lot of fun with Dummy Love. I thought that was, I don't know, it was kind of fun to just run and gun and just kind of throw together like a little comedy short. And something about the energy on set for comedies is just fun.
I'm going to say something about all those actually, but I think my favorite, there's two. Cry, I think, was like, I'm the most proud of it in terms of like what we pulled off.
Forgot about our music videos.
That was a very stressful music video. I was directing, Devin was ADing, Ryan was producing, obviously Sam was the artist. But I remember particularly when the second day of that, we'd done 2 days of shooting the oneer, where we did one day just Sam and kind of rehearsed it and got the lighting set up, and the second day was supposed to be all extras. but the power went out for the entire block, not just our building. And it was a scheduled power outage that the owner forgot to tell us. So we have a bunch of extras there for free, and we're trying not to get any of them to leave. Sam's freaking out because obviously he's the artist, and he's like, what's going on? What's going on? And I have to do, and this is great directing advice, no one should know you're freaking out as the director except for your AD and producer. So like to Sam and to the extras, I was like, hey, it's okay. We're going to get it figured out. Nothing's wrong. I gave a speech on like the megaphone. After like trying to calm down Sam and giving the speech, trying to calm down everyone else, I walked up to Devin and Ryan and I let my true emotions out and was like, I'm freaking the fuck out. We need to get this fixed right now. And as a team, we did it. We had power back within like an hour, maybe hour and a half.
We got generators. Mm-hmm.
That honestly was not fun at all because I was the one who had to call because I was producing and I had to call the manager of the location and they were like, what? There's no power? What do you mean, man? It's like, it's a scheduled power outage. I don't know how they didn't know it and didn't tell us. So
Ryan got
that
us
was
money
not
back.
fun at all.
Ryan did get us money back though, so that was good.
Yeah.
Should have gotten all our money back.
We should have. We only got a little bit back, but and then Devin kept everyone calm, and we got everything back and going. So I'm really proud about that one. Then another one I think would be Second Choice, just because that was like the culmination of all the music videos, and it felt very like emotional to finally have these like 4 videos that we all collaborated on. Devin just missed one, just missed Fly Away. You worked on every other one, and like just finally finish that story was really great. And the one note I'm gonna have, do you have something to say about that?
Honestly, Second Choice is probably my favorite.
That
Out of the music videos, I feel like that was the most fun because there's just a lot of people.
Still had
working
its
on it.
very intense on-set moments, though, that Jake and I experienced.
Yeah.
There was a moment.
As every set does,
We had
Camera
some camera drops, and we were in this environment on Second Choice where we were shooting the scene, and I just was not. I felt so horrible. I just was like, I went up to Devin and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I think we call it quits on this, and as the day goes on, we will figure out something better. And that was kind of a risky decision because we didn't have it in our schedule to go anywhere else. I remember the DP of that music video, Graham Skinner. He was like very complimentary about me making that decision because he was like, that was the right call to make, and it was a hard call to make. And we did. We got a better location, and we ended up coming up with some cool camera movements for that location that were not planned for the music video that I think made it a lot better. And so that was a tough day because I was very distraught for a little bit, but we ended up getting it back and we fixed everything.
And honestly, a cherry on top of that whole situation of the Second Choice video, got a flat tire at the end of the day too.
We did. That was a different day actually.
That
was the day before. That was fun. U-Haul eventually helped us with that and gave us money back.
I will say they were not my favorite collaborations because they were not fun, but they were very like
satisfying.
cool to do and satisfying when they were finished.
I really like Hanging Man too.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really fluid production and it looks really good.
Also,
but I
for
wouldn't,
like less than $500.
I wouldn't say that like when I think of like best times, I think of like Pinus where we were just cracking up and like doing comedies.
Yeah.
Whereas like that was kind of a heavier topic, short, and it was like we only had so much time to do it. It didn't feel rushed, but I'm probably that's one of the projects I'm most proud of though.
You were in makeup almost the whole production.
Yeah.
I was and to say about like the comedy sketch stuff, like Role Play, like Fart Killer, like Dummy Love. I think one of the reasons those were so fun is because they're the most relaxed. I often feel like one thing about filmmaking as I've gotten older is that at times you lose the fun of it. And I love the projects where you kind of rediscover the fun of it.
Honestly, that's why I like comedies because it's just we're all laughing on set, we're all joking, we're all there's not really like many serious like quiet on set. It's very much just like everybody's just joking. And
the funny thing is we're not putting in not that much effort. Like especially like Dummy Love, I didn't have to put in a ton of effort, but honestly, it's one of my favorite things I directed because it was just so funny. Everyone was like at their A game, and it was simple. It was we executed it well.
You just shoot for 6 hours.
Yeah.
In a day, maybe 8, and
that was it.
It's just a bunch of laughing, and we met Anakin Skywalker after.
We met Hayden Christensen.
Was that the same day?
That was the same day, the first day. We had a camera delay. Our camera went down, so it delayed our day immensely. But because of that, and on our way to In and Out, we were talking about if things happen for a reason or not. And Hayden
Sexy Son.
And were talking about things happen for a reason or not, and then we walked.
My
in.
hall pass.
No way.
I'm just kidding.
We walked in and out, and I remember in line, and Devin came up to me and was like, Anakin Skywalker just walked in. I thought it was just a guy that looked like Anakin Skywalker, so I looked over and I was like, holy shit, that's Hayden Christensen. And Sam walked in. I think Loki passed Hayden Christensen. I feel like he walked out and you walked in.
I think my back was facing him.
And I was like, Hayden Christensen's here. And he goes, where? And then just goes outside, and Sam asked him for a picture. And then
No. I saw him. He was waiting for his burger, and then I acted like I was waiting for my burger. And I go, "You Hayden Christensen?" And he goes, "I am." And I go, "Wow, dude. Listen, I'm a huge fan. Anyway, we could get a photo together." And he said, "Yeah, let's step outside. I don't want to be recognized." And so then we walk outside. I said, "Hey, sometimes people say I look like you from episode 3." He goes, "I could see that." And I'm like, gosh.
In the meantime, I'm asked to take the picture of Sam, and so I'm sitting there, and then Anakin asked me for a picture.
Yeah. He asked Ryan for a picture.
Yes, Ryan for a picture. I asked him
Yeah,
for a picture.
Hayden was like, "Hey man, you want a picture too?" I was like, "Sure."
He wanted to take a picture with Ryan. That's the part.
Or
of
I
the
said
story.
something like, "That'd be nice."
But our friend
like,
Dave
I
didn't
can't
know.
even remember.
Dave didn't know that it was Hayden
Yeah,
Christensen.
David Klein was like, that's not Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, we had a friend
There's
with
no
us that was
way.
like, that's not, he's a troll. I'm like, bro, you're a troll.
Like, do you forget where we are, man? I shook his hand. I'd take a picture with him. I just told him I wanted to shake his hand. I didn't want to bother him anymore.
I did shake his hand too.
But yeah, so like, it's fun doing those sketches. It brings back that kind of like childhood joy of filmmaking, which I feel like is not there as often. We kind of maybe have already done this, so if you guys feel like you don't have an answer for this that's separate from what we said, what is your funniest like / favorite memory from our collaborations outside of paralysis?
Honestly, second choice when there's a flat tire.
That was your funniest favorite memory?
I mean,
It is kind of funny, honestly.
well, so like here's what happened. We're in the car jamming. My friend Max and I, we're just jamming in the car in the
Slithery
U-Haul.
snakes.
he's
yeah,
the other slithery snake.
Yeah. So we're just jamming out in the U-Haul with all the equipment, and I saw like the low tire pressure gauge pop up, and I checked the tire, and it was not flat. It wasn't even like, just regular tire, And then as we got to the last location of the day, still checked it. It was fine. So I thought it was a faulty, sensor saying that it was a flat tire, but tire got flat. And yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny because
That was funny.
we were just jamming out to like
Baby King.
Jimmy Cook's Drake, and kind of replacing some of the words with Jake's name. And it was kind of fun. Not going to go into that, but yeah, it was fun.
I don't know. I feel like the most fun. I'm trying to think of the most fun experience I had on set with you guys besides paralysis would probably be improv in Pinus. Like, I know I keep bringing that project up, but there was just so much improv done, and like Ryan did a great job with that, and Max did a great job with that, and Russ and Tony and Jerome, they all did a great job with that. And so, it was just so funny to see everyone just like riff off of each other and just like freely be, because we really wanted that to feel really organic, and it's like you couldn't crack a character because obviously you can't crack character, and everybody's just cracking new jokes every take and just throwing everybody off. And yeah, that was probably the most fun I'd had.
I don't think there was a single take on Pinus where you didn't hear Russ cracking up in the background on the mic.
You guys made me do sound. you know I'm the most susceptible to laughter.
Dude,
That's true.
Russ was laughing on every take, and
Hey, he still captures some pretty good sound.
The
Hey,
funniest
it's still
thing
good.
about Pinus is our DP Jackson. Like, there's so many shots where he's holding the camera, and there's we're also recording internal audio from the camera, and he's going. He's like when something's funny, he's trying not to laugh, but like there's shots where he's like.
I think I remember him being like, you guys are killing me. This is so
Yeah.
difficult to do.
I said that multiple times, I remember.
Yeah.
Honestly, Pinus probably was my favorite too,
Pinus
now
was
that I
a lot
think
of fun.
about it.
that was just the one where like everybody was on their A game, comedy wise, production wise. Like we were all running around and like
We really just
I don't know. There
let
wasn't
loose.
a moment on set that wasn't fun. I mean, I even at some point brought out like candy for Ryan, and that killed me because he was just eating gummies on a couch in the scene.
What's
the way he ate them was so funny.
I remember though, like on set, there also being like discussion of like if the candy made any sense, and now
No.
it's like so funny in the film.
That was a different candy scene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a giant lollipop that Max was licking, and that got cut.
Oh
Just
yeah,
like
it was
Pinus'
the pop rock
foreskin.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite like specific memory. It's not the funniest, but it's probably when we like pulled off the stunt and cry with the lift off. I remember like we only had the stunt guy there for a couple hours, and like I wasn't really sure how he was gonna be. And he loved Sam, and he obviously wanted to stay longer. And he thought Sam was like they got a really good repertoire. And then no one else. I don't think any of the extras. And Russ, chime in here because you're one of those extras if you want to. I don't think any of the extras really knew exactly what was going to happen until it happened, and like everyone's excitement for that moment when you got lifted up was like really cool to see like finally pulled off visually and stuff.
Hurt my spine though, because normally when you're supposed to be, I think you're the one that.
I told him correctly. I think he misunderstood me.
Because so there's like hook and hook in your waists, and then there's supposed to be another hook on your shoulder where the wires take you up and you levitate the air. Well, they only had 2 hooks on my hip, so basically, like when I had to like lean back and get lifted, like my spine was literally, I was getting freaking like reverse. I was getting freaking reverse Gwen Stacy, man.
You were
Like-
getting bent backwards, bro.
Yeah, bro. I was getting bent forward, bro. I got reverse Gwen
getting-
Stacy, man.
Just getting bent, bro.
I did tell him the correct way. I'm very confident. I think he just misunderstood me. By the way, guys, if you're just listening to this, you can also watch this podcast, and I'll show some of that BTS of that moment so you guys can see like what we're talking about with Cry. So if you want to see what we're talking
Cut
about,
the clip.
go check out the YouTube clips
You know,
of
Jake,
all that.
that's a magical touch, I will say.
Are you gonna
Thanks.
add the clips over the podcast?
Yeah, I'll add it over us talking.
Okay, James.
I think the funniest memory, I just thought about this while we were talking, was when we did Dummy Love and how much David Klein did not want to do anything with the dummy out in public. And how against it he was. And we were like, Dave, I promise you, it is hilarious. It is going to be so funny. And like when he had to dance with it in the balcony and then like dip the dummy like in his dance, he did not want to do that from our balcony in front of it. Because we live across from a park where there's a lot of people, and so they could see
Lots of children.
with this dummy. So he probably did look like a weirdo. It probably helped we had the camera, but still, it was very funny.
I kind of broke my ass for that one, honestly, because I was the one holding the dummy for the POV shot.
Yeah.
And I remember I slipped on like a pine cone or something.
Oh, really? I had BTS
Yeah,
of
I
us
was-
doing that moment.
I was holding
but-
it
I have
up
a
like
video of him falling. Actually,
I was like holding it up like this, and then I was spinning around as the camera guy is holding the dummy's
Jackson,
arms or whatever. Yeah,
who also
Yeah,
shot
Jackson
Pinus.
shot Dummy Love. I always forget that.
yeah. Jackson's
Jackson's
shot
the
Pinus
best. Shout out Jackson.
and Dummy
Shout out
Love.
Jackson.
Jackson Montemayor.
He's a great guy.
Jackson.
He is a great guy. I'll have him on at some point. What do you guys think were the best and worst parts of making Paralysis together? I know we could probably have a whole episode just on this, but we'll try to keep it brief.
How much can I say?
You don't say anything that would be spoilery.
No curse words.
You can mention the scene that was the most difficult, but no context of it.
Well, I can easily say the worst part was when we lost our production designer week 2, and all of our wardrobe and set design was basically up in the air, and that just kind of landed on everybody to figure out.
Yeah.
That was the toughest part.
was
Next to
tough.
also the boat days.
We luckily ended up being okay, but it was just different reasons we had to let the production designer go. But yeah, it did bite us a little bit, but we were able to recover, and I don't think you'll be able to notice when you actually see the final film whatsoever. The most difficult scene to film was definitely the lake scene, the boat scene in particular. I cannot say more than that about the scene, but we were on a boat and we were shooting with a different boat. But it was very difficult to get the boats to stay still, and it's also a night shoot, so we're going late through the night as the sun rises. The scene actually looks pretty good, but while we were making it, we thought it was going to be pretty horrible.
The boat scene was stressful, but it was honestly kind of fun.
Yeah, the boat scene is like, it's like while you're in the moment, like I'm like tired as crap, and I've been on the boat. Like it's funny, the guy who plays the monster, Isaiah Tweet, he was like, shout out Tweet. He was like, we were doing a shoot with D Wallace like a couple months later, and he was like, dude, you were pissed. And I was like, yeah, bro, I was pretty annoyed. He's like, I would be too. He's like, I got into makeup. Makeup took me like 8 hours or something like that. And he was like, and you were on the boat before I even got into makeup. And I'm like, yeah, I was on that little tiny speedboat from before the sun went down, from when the sun went down, all the way until the sun started coming back up again.
It was a day.
I was on the boat the entire time. And the worst part of it is what they were saying is like mentally in my brain, I said, this is all going to look like ass. I was like, there's no way any of this is going to actually make it. And we're going to have to reshoot it. Like my brain is just like, oh my gosh, here we go. But honestly, it
looks good.
It looks pretty good. Like,
shout out Jake Gum.
Yeah, shout out Jake Gum.
Devin and I both had nightmares for at least a week or two afterwards about that
2 months
scene.
after. Yeah, they were following me.
I would have nightmares. I had a nightmare once where I was sleeping in our guest bedroom at our parents' house, and where someone, I think Devin, like woke me up in the bed and was like, we have to film the boat scene, and somehow brought the boat into my room. And I was like really stressed, and I was like, I'm not ready to shoot this scene. I don't know what I want coverage wise and all this stuff. And I had multiple nightmares like that. And Devin did too.
Scene. It was cold too out there for some reason.
If
I remember
anything,
being kind of cold out there.
If anything, I feel like I slept pretty good during that. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, weirdly enough, like
I was really sick around that time too. I was getting really sick too, so it was rough.
Well, yeah, I feel like I was in this like state during the whole shooting paralysis of like high anxiety and just like out of body experience, to where I honestly like everything was just kind of happening and I was just kind of like there. It feels like when I think back about paralysis, like the character I played was super anxious and just like always freaking out. And so like I kind of went like a little method with it at times. Like I wasn't like method the whole day, but like, a couple hours before scenes, I would be like locked in as a character. And I kind of got lost in Robbie. And so like it took me months to really recover from it. And so honestly, like during that whole time, like I feel like my body was just like in a fight or flight, to where like I probably should have gotten sick, but I literally was just like in this like cycle of like bad sleep, barely eating, bad sleep, barely eating, bad sleep, barely eating, and kind of like every day on the verge of like a mental breakdown because of the material every day.
We will have episodes just about paralysis, by the way. So,
Yeah.
like, if you want to know more, we will have close to release episodes that are specifically dedicated to paralysis, because we can't touch on a ton because of spoilers and stuff like that.
if I was gonna say my worst part was honestly, it was fun being there for like almost.
Yeah,
a
so we
month.
have to say some positive things after this.
It was really fun being there for like a whole month, practically. Like, getting to know a whole crew of people and working with them really closely. And I feel like the worst part though was that too, being there for 3 weeks and kind of all being in a closed space, especially with food. Food was like honestly probably the biggest problem. Like,
So bad.
it'd be the end of the day. We'd get back to the house and there would be no food there and we'd all be starving. It'd be like, I don't know.
One of us
We
made
also
chili together.
we also were staying like 45 minutes from the shooting location in the middle of a
bad.
cabin in the woods that had no, like, I'm gonna sound like such a bitch right now, but didn't have Wi-Fi and like all that, like, and the sink smelled like poop.
But the girls got to stay 5 minutes from set.
I will say, shout out to Dylan Black, because
shout out
between
Dylan
me
Black.
and him, he probably got the least amount of sleep on anyone in
I
production.
love you, Dylan Black.
And yeah, he would be coming with us. He would have to sometimes take someone to a cabin, come back to the house, and then go back and fix something else that was back at the place.
Dylan put the weight of that movie on his shoulders multiple days, if not
He did.
like weeks.
And I commend him a lot for that, and I thank him for a lot for that.
You saved our production, Dylan Black.
Hire Dylan Black is basically what we're saying. Positive things. I think it was, honestly, looking back on it, I know you guys might not agree with that, but looking back on the house and like staying in that house, and we filmed in the same location for like 12 or 13 of the 15 days in the initial production. It's so much fun, like seeing clips of like you and Cameron Sam like goofing off, or like all the cast just like kind of getting close together, and how, when you guys think about it, we had that house set up perfectly. Every single room had a purpose. We had rooms that were set rooms. We had rooms that were equipment rooms, rooms that were offices, rooms that were like lunch rooms.
Yeah.
Like I loved how we had that set up and the fun memories outside that, like going to Dollar City, going to Andy's, going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. Like we did a lot of fun things as a crew.
yeah.
I think that made it feel a lot like a family that we all really
Yeah,
loved.
it was really great. Yeah, the things that I did really like was that, honestly, like just doing fun things, like going to Silver Dollar City and going to get ice cream after the shoot, and just like, you know, I think my favorite parts of production were always like, I had so much fun during the days on set, but when I had the most fun was like over the weekends, because like I said before, I was like, usually every day was having to prep for a pretty heavy scene the next day. So like days in between were hard to relax, but like the weekends and actually being on set day of was like, and then once you got off set too, and we'd go do fun things, that was always like so much fun. And did we ever have a lake day where we all went on the lake?
There was a day where I wasn't here for this, but like a lot of you guys
both
went
days.
swimming and stuff. I think the like final weekend day before we went to week 2.
We had a lot of lake nights.
Lake nights and
Yes.
the boat.
Oh my gosh.
The boat days also kind of counted as lake days.
Oh my gosh. That's what I mean, bro. Like I literally, like I've blanked out on that movie.
No, I mean
There's
same.
many times I blanked out. I forgot. There was so many times where like we would all go to the lake and it'd be like me and Cameron maybe, and Ryan, and we would be like riffing off of each other while looking at the stars, be like, life sure is sweet, huh? And we would just like banter off each other and like make this whole like dialogue scene of like an indie like high school movie.
This is the best summer ever.
Yeah,
You're
like, I can't believe
cheesy
it's the
stuff,
last day
yeah.
of summer camp.
It was
We'd be like stuff like that.
we became a family, and I think honestly looking back at clips of that is what's helped me remember all the good, because like when you're in it, you're just focusing it's a feature film and it's low budget, and so you're focusing on day-to-day stuff. But looking back at it, I'm like, there was actually lots of fun moments.
And there was something so funny that Carson, the cinematographer, brings this up to me a lot, is that there was a scene where I was having this like argument with, or Robbie was having this argument with Cynthia, my character Robbie, and
Cynthia's his love interest.
Cynthia plays the love interest, and I'm like, Cynthia's off screen, it's like my coverage, and like Carson has the camera on his shoulder, and I'm like supposed to be in a really intense fight, and he's like just like trying not to laugh, and I'm like, I keep accidentally locking eyes with him and not my scene partner, and it was like so funny.
Shout out Carson Knudsen.
Yeah, that was funny.
We had our first sleep paralysis scene, and somebody had to stand in for the demon. And it was me and Sam on the bed with Carson shooting, I think, profile on us. And I just had to hover over him for a good solid 5 minutes and chat it
Yeah,
up.
bro. There's when we actually, I'm assuming me and Jake will probably do a podcast episode where we talk about paralysis, but there's a very funny story I have. With
We cannot talk about it right now.
But,
one, because I think we're going to run out of time, but also because we need to save that for a different episode. Ryan, did you have any other favorite memories? I have one more paralysis related question before we get into the audience questions. We're almost done.
You know, I don't even know if this would be one of my favorite memories, but I did go to Taco Bell with Tweet one of those days. But that's not one of my favorites. That just I wanted to throw that in there.
You're going to expand that?
Tweet is the monster of the film. So since I didn't have a car and we're stuck in the cabin for about 3 weeks, you know, I wanted to get some food, and Tweet happened to have a car, and he offered to drive me to Taco Bell, and you know, we had a good conversation in Taco Bell.
That's sweet.
It was fun.
I love that.
Honestly,
for
it
you
was
guys.
fun.
What were your guys' biggest takeaways / lessons learned from paralysis?
There's two for me. As an actor, really, you know, obviously playing dark roles like that are fine, but really thinking about it before you really commit and not getting too lost in it, especially if the characters are too dark, because it'll literally eat you alive. And then two, as a producer, just a lot of ways that maybe we should have done things differently, or like maybe would have saved money here, or I'm sure Jake can attest to that too. Just like areas where now I'm kind of like, well, we could have saved money there or here, or just things like that.
One of the most important things I learned, which I'd never done a feature either as an AD, and so I went into this with like the most amount of prep I could possibly do on my side of things. However, when it got to the actual shooting, I didn't understand just how important it would be to roll with the punches, and especially in moments where, obviously, like on other projects like Second Choice, we'd roll with punches, but this one in particular, like things just like sometimes shit hit the fan, and we had to like really scramble in the moment, or we were not going to make our day, and it was like already getting well into our day, everybody was kind of frustrated, nobody was happy, and so just being able to like corral everybody, come up with the most creative solution, and like just figure it out in the best way possible was like very, very, very important.
I will say props to Devin. For a micro budget indie film, we made our day almost every single day. I think there was only technically 2 days.
The boat day was one of them.
There's only 2 days we went technically over 12 hours, and that was the last 2 days. That was the boat day and the day after that. But they were the final 2 days, so we kind of had to. But I think it didn't feel as bad because every day before that we did a decent job of making our day. We used up every minute of that day, but props to Devin for keeping us on task and getting everything done how we needed to. As the director, there is so much I learned. I would say the biggest thing, and did involve, since we're talking about collaboration, is collaboration. It's both trusting your collaborators more. I think there was a lot of people I never worked with on this film, who I will work with again. But there was some learning curves to that collaboration, and how to like make sure that my vision was being communicated and sticking to that and not changing. But on the other side of it too, it was also in a way doing more research on who we're collaborating with. There was definitely certain people that I will not collaborate with again because of different things I learned about them through that production. So like, especially for something big like that. But yeah, I mean, there's so many lessons I learned, and I will do once again an episode just on directing paralysis and the things that came out of it and what it taught me. Obviously there's a lot I could say, just making decisions, sticking to your guns, making the tough choices very quickly. And also I can't go through this now because, one, we don't have time. There's one scene in particular that I want to break down one day in terms of like, when you're in a scene that's very intense with your actors, the best way to direct them and make sure that like you're not overstepping, but also like being, accustomed to their high emotions at the time. So that's stuff that I'd love to talk about and give advice for. So yeah. Ryan, did you have anything you want to say? Because I know you kind of got...
Yeah, so I mean, it was like my first time being script supervisor for a feature film. So it was a lot to learn. It was a lot to kind of figure out at first. So I was kind of stressed in the first few days. It was, trying to figure out exactly everything I needed to do. And so honestly, it made me realize that I don't mind doing script supervising for some friends or closer people to me. I don't really want to do it on like a huge professional scale for huge commercials and everything, because I don't know if I could handle it.
You learned you don't want to do this role, actually.
Yeah.
You did a good job, though. You did do a good job.
I did. I enjoyed it, but I will say my favorite part about it was watching the monitor and listening into the performances. And there was a couple times where I was getting emotional with the performances. Like there was...
Absolutely.
Like I might have teared up a couple times.
Sam, Yaya, Penelope, Elizabeth, Cameron, everyone in the film kills it.
Yeah.
Todd Tater Todson.
Ryan is Todd.
Todd Tater Todson.
Chris Kevin.
Todd Tater
I will
Todson.
say, Ryan, for a lot of the student filmmakers that were on the film,
Sorry.
a lot of the student filmmakers who are on this film, I don't think any of them knew what a scripty was, and I'm sure for a lot of them you showed them the importance of a script supervisor, and probably the same for AD, honestly. The importance of both those positions. They are important, guys. If you can have them, do not ignore them.
I feel like at the beginning there was a lot of people underestimating scripty. They were like, man, what the heck is this guy gonna be doing? Like, he's just sitting around with a clipboard with the script and some pens. Like,
Define some people.
I'd rather not dip into that, but
No, Scripty was so important, especially when things started to fall apart. Like, Ryan was the one we all leaned upon to, like, kind of honestly be like, all right, like, we're missing this thing in the scene. Look it up, find it. Ryan had it. You know, it was always good
And
to
if he
go to him.
didn't, Jacob did.
Exactly.
the
Having
first
an editor
couple
on
of
set
days
is great.
stressed me out though, because it was just like I had the script and the monitor and like the earbuds weren't working and this and that, and the signal for the monitor in the house sometimes just wouldn't catch feed, so I didn't want to like create noise to like walk across the squeaky old house to, you know, find a better spot for the monitor.
We shot in an actual house that was built before the 70s, but was like trapped in the 70s. So it's a very dated house. All right, guys. So we're getting into the segment where we do the audience questions. I have some funny questions that are not serious that were asked, but I just want to read them off. So we don't need to all give an answer for them, but then we'll go into the actual serious questions and I'll let you guys know when we're there. So first question, Devin Juden asks, who is the sexiest?
Wait. Are you gonna say who asked each thing? Okay.
Yes. Devin Juden asks, who is the sexiest?
There's a little debate we got going.
Devin, who do you think it is since you asked this question?
It's obviously me. Obviously. I have curly hair.
Ryan Blonde, maybe.
Blonde Ryan honestly beats us all out. God tier Ryan.
Not the one in Fart Killer with the long blonde hair though. Not that
Shorter
one.
blonde.
Short blonde Ryan was dropping hose.
Honestly, might be the peak of my life. I don't know.
Sam Harding asks, what's Devin's skincare routine? His skin is so dreamy.
Water.
Gabe Brown asks,
Wotion.
how did actor Sam Harding get into his role / character in the hit series Gabe and Sam? As quickly as possible.
Let's just say, good old trip to Tennessee, baby.
Okay.
That's an inside joke from the show.
Yeah. Grant Strelo asks, how do you deal with the sexual temptations of living with such hot men?
It's tough.
It's not an easy world.
I don't cope.
Dylan Black asks, who is the hottest? Shout out Dylan Black from earlier in the episode.
You, Dylan.
Devin.
Honestly, Dylan.
Dylan.
Dylan. Carson Knutson asks, who is the best kisser?
You know, Jake has this phrase that's kiss me like you mean it.
Yep.
And it's entirely true. That's not like Jake's gonna probably fabricate it and say it was said some other way, but kiss me like you mean it.
Okay. That is all. Do you have anything else you
He's
want to
going
say?
to cut that.
That was all the funny questions. Now the actual serious question. Jesse Klein asks, Sam, what was your experience like on the set of Babylon? And to that, I'm also going to add, Ryan, you've been an extra in a lot of different cool productions. So, like, what is your favorite production you've been an extra on? Like, what's your experience been on that? You haven't been an extra, right, Devin?
Yeah, I have.
You have?
Yeah, I was a doctor in
You
a
can,
commercial.
okay, you can talk about that too, and I can talk about my very brief extras experience.
Well, do you want me to go first?
You go first because it's the question.
So my experience on Babylon was absolute utter shit. It was horrible. But Damien Chazelle was wearing Skechers.
He's a cool guy.
But he was really nice. I didn't have a problem with any of like those guys. I didn't really talk to him much. They were pretty private. It was more like the effing COVID officers. Oh my gosh. Talk about abusive power. And I'm sorry if you're a COVID officer, like.
Explain what scene you were in so they know.
What?
Explain what scene you were in so they know.
I was in a like the all desert scene when all like the homeless people are like playing extras, all killing each other and fighting. You can actually see me in a shot. Pull it up. Boom. There I am. And then, but yeah, the experience was absolute utter shit. Everyone was getting sunburn, sun poisoning. Actually, the most famous extra in the world fainted into my arms. Forgot his name though.
We'll pull up clips of him.
He's in every single like background. He's like a background in every single movie ever. He there was heat stroke. They were running out of water. Like, and then the COVID officers were just literally such abusive power. They were like screaming at us for like keeping our masks on, even though we had to take them off between shoots. And it was just like so ridiculous because people were getting super sunburned on their nose. And then they would get sunscreen, and then they would make them put their masks on, and then when they take their mask off, it would rub all the sunscreen off, so they would just keep getting sunburn. And then there was just a lot of screaming back and forth with these like ridiculous COVID officers. And so, yeah, that was a horrible experience. And the movie was a solid, like, 5 out of 10. So
I want to see it again. Ryan, you've been extra in lots of things. So, like, what has been your favorite, and how's your experience been for the most part?
Yeah, so honestly, probably one of my favorite experiences I can't really talk about right now because of an NDA, but an A-list celebrity did almost hit me with their car. Anyway, I would say the most fun set that I was on was probably the Goldbergs, because it was like one of the last episodes, and I was an extra right behind the actor who played Gibby. I think his name is like Noah something. I can't remember, but
Fun.
it was kind of hype. It was, you know, Gibby's right there and the other guys. And I mean, there was a lot of other fun TV shows too, but I can't really even think of them right now.
You have a featured shot in, what was it?
Minx.
Oh, yeah. I do have a featured shot in the show Minx with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's not Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Johnson.
Jake Johnson.
I meant to say Jake Johnson. Yeah, so that was cool. You know, like the camera kind of went around and I'm just an extra and some...
It's a pretty cool shot, honestly. It's just like the camera looks like...
It's on Ryan.
It's like Ryan here, camera goes...
I honestly, you know, in the moment, I remember them filming it and the camera was just going right around me, but I'm not paying attention to it because I'm just supposed to be in the scene. And I was like, there's no way they're ever going to use this shot, you know, because the camera's right in front of me and Jake Johnson is behind me, and you would think like they would cut that shot or something, but they used it. So that was
Do you want
cool.
to talk about your extras experience, or do you want to move on?
I was a sexy doctor in a commercial. What more can I say?
Oh, I thought of another fun.
You say it.
I guess another fun one that I did was an NFL commercial and got to get a little bit of airtime on TV for like a week, and that's about it.
You should have gotten a buyout for that, because I met someone on set the other day that was on a Coca-Cola commercial, and they had way less of a featured part, and they got like $5,000. So
Contact your agents now.
I did contact them actually, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, there's nothing we can. I mean, you didn't contribute to it, and you didn't." And so I was like,
You didn't contribute to it. You were there. What did they mean?
"I don't know what they mean, but they kind of just
They didn't want to pay you.
they did not want to pay
I will
me."
say, I was a featured character, sort of featured background on a little music video called "Thought of Me."
It's true. That's a good role.
Yes.
That's a very funny role.
I played a high shoe attendant.
I don't really understand the commercial I was an extra in, so I won't talk about it right now. But if it's aired, I will show a little clip. Chloe Main asks, how do you handle slow times with jobs when roommates are getting other jobs? I feel like this is a great question. Well, it's really for all of us, but
We do a lot of dirty stuff that we don't even want to talk about.
We sell a lot of drugs.
I think my actual answer to this is we try to help each other by getting each other on those jobs, typically, I'd say, is what we try to do.
Goes back to that first question about perks of being roommates or something like I don't remember what the question was, but that is a good perk of being roommates. Is we can help each other out with freelance jobs.
We all work like extra work and production work to like get a lot of our money to live out here in LA. And so usually I'll try to bring Devin on things. I'll try to bring me and Ryan on things. I'll try to bring Ryan on things, so on and so forth. So that's typically how we try to. It is hard because it's like sometimes one of us is really broke and the other person is working constantly and they can't get us on. Lately, that's been Devin. But there was a time.
It's always been Devin.
Well, there was a time definitely where it was me, and
So busy.
it was nothing. But Devin's been very busy lately. But he's giving us his scraps, so it's very nice of him.
I try very hard to get them on.
I don't work in production though.
No, Sam does not work in production.
So-
He's cool,
Sam's PA'd like one thing.
I paid like one or
is
two
it?
times.
and he hated it.
Yeah.
But at least he didn't drop a lot in anybody's head, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
And I got paid like $350 for it too, which
Nice, it's not bad.
That's really
So yeah, we just kind of handle it
not
by
bad.
trying to help each other out. I think that's the best way to put it.
yeah, I don't think that there's any like rivalry going on.
No,
Oh, a little thing that kind of goes to how we all collaborate. When I first moved in to Glendale, production wasn't going super hot. The strikes were happening, and thankfully our church had a coffee shop that we all worked at. I was the manager. These were my baristas, and that honestly that
was the
kept
best
us
one.
afloat for a year straight. Like that was probably one of the most fun things.
Very
we did as
nice.
roommates.
Yeah, that was that's kind of what I feel like got us used to like working in a network with each other.
that is very true. Final question. Julie, who is an executive producer of Paralysis, asks, what is the most valuable piece of advice you have received from a fellow filmmaker?
There was one time where Jake and I had coffee with Jay Roach, which is kind of a random thing. And Sam actually was there too, I think towards the end of it. But something that I remember him saying was, he said something like, you guys just honestly need to move out to LA. Like, if you want to make it in film, go to a school in LA or move out to LA. And like, you know, there's just a lot of connections out there. There's a lot of people to meet in the film industry. You're not going to be able to do it the same way other places. And so I remember him saying that, and that always kind of stuck with me. And I thought back, you know, because it was in high school when we had coffee with him. And I remember just thinking that was kind of crazy. I was like, I don't want to move to LA to do film. I can do it perfectly fine in Kansas City. And I don't know. I feel like that's totally wrong.
Shout out to Jay Roach for planting that in our heads. I know all of us would probably love to get coffee with you again. I would love to just talk to you now as a feature film director. Back then, I was just a 16-year-old kid that didn't know what I was doing. So I'd like to say thank you for the advice you gave and show you where it ended up. So if you guys know how we can contact Jay Roach or at least say thank you, please let us know.
I can't think of any advice. I think that I've given a lot of great advice, but I can't like think of like one singular person that I'm like, oh yeah, they. But I know that like, you know, I feel like I've heard a lot of like right when you feel like you need to quit is when you're about to be on your breakthrough. You know, I've heard things like that a lot. And so, but I know I've gotten a lot of great advice, and I'm sorry to like my mentors that I'm just not remembering right now, but like, yeah.
That's okay.
I'll say, I feel like, I don't know if anybody ever said this to me, but somebody had to say it. I don't know, but be yourself, you know, and like, especially in this industry, like it's kind of hard to like kind of find where you fit in like, you know, production or acting or music or whatever. And so it's always kind of nice to be yourself and like figure out your art through, you know, doing it with your friends and whoever.
Absolutely. Do you have anything, Devin?
SpongeBob said that. I don't know. I think one of my favorite ones that kind of stuck with me was, and this wasn't just necessarily filmmaking advice, but I think it applies very much to like how you cope with things and how you figure out, especially life in LA, which is already so hard. One of them is persistence and perseverance, because I've seen so many people come and go, and I've only been here 3 years, and even sticking out 3 seems to be like some kind of monumental like task for people. And so sticking it out is one of the hardest things. I don't remember who told me that specifically, but I feel like it's a
I've heard that
combination of advice. And then actually Michael P. Blevins gave me the advice of never make the same mistake twice.
He was the first person to tell you that?
No, but it's the one I remember the most recently.
The most
I made a
recent.
mistake.
Shout out Michael Blevins.
Is just like, you know, when you're figuring things out, it's okay to mess up, and you probably will. You should expect that, but don't make the same mistake twice. Figure it out. Make sure that you grow from that and that you're moving forward instead of staying in that same place or going backwards. And that kind of like hit me at a time where I was feeling like I was really failing, and so yeah.
I would say 2 things. One was the many alumni from Liberty University that gave me advice to move out to LA. Elisina comes to mind mostly, where I was trying to decide between Atlanta or LA, and a lot of people gave me advice to go to LA because that is the main hub, and it's where, you know, everything's going to come back to. And while that has been challenged a little bit lately, I still think that's true. At least connections-wise, it's the best place to be. And like you said, Jay Roach also giving us that advice. I think that was like all good things that ultimately led to us coming out here. And then shout out to my mentor, Ice, for giving me the advice to ditch the other film I was working on and do Paralysis, because now it is in post-production and we got a feature film under our belt. So thank you, Ice, for that encouragement and seeing where we had maybe a better idea than we were realizing, than I was realizing. So yeah. So guys, before we go, is there any final advice or thing you'd like to say to our audience?
Greasy. I don't have anything to say.
I mean, I kind of feel like I said.
I feel
like
like
I feel like the
just
last
kinda-
question I kind of said little.
Yeah,
mixed a
we've
little bit.
covered. If you have nothing else to
I
say,
feel like I yapped. I just yapped, bro. I mean,
no, it's good. I think we all said some really good things.
Stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back with a brand new edition.
Facts. Honestly, as cringy as it sounds, just keep chasing your dreams, work with people that you love, and keep creating. I think that's the most important thing. And if this isn't evidence of that we all love each other and collaborate with each other and love doing that, then like, I don't know what is.
If there's one brand that has given me the best advice, it's Nike. Just do it.
Amen.
I will say, film as a medium, why I love it is because it's the most collaborative art form you can be in. I think it's like it's every little piece of art all put into one thing, and you're using, like even on our small little indie film, we had like 20 to 30 people on set, and like it just takes everybody to make this thing happen, and so it's very collaborative. And so like make sure you're picking like the people you can collaborate best with, and the people who will love you and want to pour into you and believe in you for your project.
Awesome. Maybe you guys have anything else?
like MJ says, just beat it.
I was thinking that earlier, and that's why I said just do it instead.
I know. When you said that, I was like, that's a classic Ryan quote.
All right. Well, guys,
Michael
that
Jackson said it, not me.
I know, but you always say, just like Michael Jackson says.
all right, guys. All right, guys, that'll be it for this episode of Professional Amateur. Before we go, we like to end episodes with giving a in-theater movie recommendation to our audience and an out-of-theater where you can watch anytime at home recommendation. So if you guys have any, now's the time. I can go first if no one else knows.
Superman. Go see Superman in theaters. I've seen it 3 times already. Once in 3D. I will be seeing it again in 3D in at least 2 days. It's amazing. I love Superman. Check it out. James Gunn, you did a good job. David Cornsweet, you're my Superman. And also, see First Man. I don't think a lot of people see that one. And we talked about Damien Chazelle, and nobody knows about that movie. Mm-mm. It's a good movie.
I do want to watch First Man.
Greatest soundtrack for any movie
Devin,
ever.
Devin did not emphasize enough 3D. It's so worth it. It's game changing.
Nobody's seeing 3D movies. It's a dying industry. What's going on?
2025.
Yeah, see more 3D.
All right, so this is gonna date the episode.
Hashtag save 3D.
I already said Superman in my last episode. I was like,
All right, well, this is the movie you should go see. Fantastic Four 2. By the time this comes out, no, I'm just kidding.
Fantastic 2.
I would say movie in theaters, Superman. Movie outside of theaters, Spider-Man 3.
Also coming back to theaters is Spider-Man 2.1.
Which I've seen before. And people online keep saying, a version that's never been seen before. I'm like, I have that on DVD. It was on DVD! Anyway.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about. If I were to recommend an at-home movie, I'd probably say SpongeBob the movie. And if I were to recommend a in-the-theater movie, I'd say The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because that's probably the most awesome thing I've ever seen in the theater. Honestly, back when it came out, it was the greatest. Saw it recently again. Still the same, if not better.
Revenge of the Sith was amazing back
That
in
too.
theaters as well.
If I didn't pick Spider-Man 3, it'd be Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2. So what he's saying is gas.
I'm going to change it up a little
Gas.
bit because I already said Superman for the last episode.
And if I didn't say Amazing Spider-Man 2, I would say Toby Spider-Man 1. Just cut him right
Let it
off.
be shown for the record that Jake knew ahead of time I would say Superman. He just knew I would, and yet still decided to say Superman on the last episode. So
I did. And
In
so
3D,
in
by
3D,
the way.
in 3D, in 3D, IMAX 3D.
At the time of recording,
IMAX 3D.
At the time of recording, I haven't seen many other movies in theaters, so I'm going to say, do not go see Eddington. I love Ari Aster. I love Hereditary. It's my favorite horror film of all time, but Eddington is not it. Sorry, man.
This is gonna be so wrong in 5 years. Jake's gonna look back at this
Absolutely.
and kick himself.
The at home movie I'd recommend, since we're talking about Damien Chazelle, check out La La Land if you haven't. I love La La Land. It's one of the most important movies to my life. Or watch Whiplash. Just watch a Damien Chazelle movie. That's your homework.
Just don't watch.
Guy and Madeline on the park bench.
Boring.
Oh my gosh, so
Sorry,
bad. Honestly, I didn't even watch
Maybe we
it.
shouldn't
but
put that in
it's-
case he wants to meet us.
I don't think he likes the movie.
What if he wants to
either.
produce us?
I don't think he likes the movie
Probably
either.
should put that. Okay.
It was a really bad watch, and I watched probably 10 minutes with you guys.
I fell asleep.
I gotta close out, guys. so
James
we can go home.
Gunn. Hi. So if you're watching this, people said that I could play Jason Todd or Superboy. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
I also am working on a Green Arrow, Black Canary romantic action pitch for you, James Gunn. So if you want to hear that, let me know.
We're also from Missouri.
If you want to hear my pitch, meet me in person.
816.
Let me wrap up this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Professional Amateur. Shout out to my producers, Maddie Main, Russ Greasy, and Brett Gaffney. Thank you to Wonderview Venue for letting us record here. And love you all. Keep creating. Keep dreaming. Thank you all.